so and so really well. There's a cohesion there.
Yeah, and I think we all work together pretty well. Dylan's obviously the leader of our room, and he does a great job of that. He pours into us, and he does everything right. So we just got to follow his lead. Really.
Was that Archie talked a lot about just the younger guys just will grab an older guy whenever they can. Was Dylan your guy kind of when you were coming up, or who was your guy when you were needing help and needing answers?
Yeah, I come to Dylan a lot. He's a very smart player. He's savvy. He knows the game really well. He watches a lot of film, so I think that's important, to reach out to older guys and say, okay, this is what I need to work on. How do I work on this?
Obviously, you played well against Rutgers. What went into the build-up to that week to have that kind of output for you?
I think just my prep, and the coaches put me in the right spot to make plays. Coach Henry calls a call, and I just got to execute the call. Everyone does.
I think Coach McDaniel talked about your preparation too. How has that evolved over the course of your career? Now you've been around for a little bit.
I think film study is probably the most important thing for a middle linebacker. Especially the mic. You have a lot of stuff to think about for the pre-snap communication. So I think that's, as a linebacker, that's one of the most important things.
Yeah. Kind of some up and downs this season for you personally. I don't know if you would agree. Like, what was your key to bouncing back and being able to have the kind of game you did against Rutgers?
Just my prep, really. I think just pouring into this team every day and just coming here with the right attitude and just being like, I'm gonna work every day.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel like that? What's that led to on-field wise for you? Improvement? Is there anything you feel like, hey, I'm doing this better today than I was in September or whenever?
Yeah, I just feel like my energy, my energy every day that I bring, and just trying to do the right thing every day. I think that's the most important thing. Just being a good person, being what I can for this team to put the team in the best position to win.
How do you find the balance between playing without thinking, like everybody says, and just playing on instinct and doing your prep work so that you know what you're supposed to be doing? You know what I mean? Like, is there a kind of a mentality of if you're going to do something wrong, do it 100 miles an hour?
Yeah, if you're doing something you probably should be doing 100 miles an hour, but I think you should probably be, as a middle linebacker, you probably should be thinking every play. Before the play, you got to think about the formation, where the back is. You got to think about a lot of things. So I think, you kind of have to think. But like during the play, you're going to play off instincts, and pre-snap communication helps with that.
What was it like for you? Like, you had a whole week, I would guess, knowing Dylan wasn't going to be available. What was his role with you that week and helping you and be ready for that?
He helps me every week. Every week we get together. One of my really good friends, so I think we watch film together all the time and stuff like that. It was just a normal week, but I knew I was going to be the starter, and I took advantage of that.
Can you walk me through the tackle on Callie McManus at TFL, kind of how that came to be and what you saw?
Coach Henry he called the call, and I just had to execute it. Really, I was in the right position to make a play, and he put me there.
Did you get tempted to bite? I think it was a fake where they probably wanted you to bite on the back. Did you get tempted, or did you have those?
I was really just trying to do my job right there. I'm trying to play down and come out to the quarterback. I saw he had the ball, so that was just trying to do my job.
You were once the young guy. What do you think of like Grant Behrman? I was doing young guy now.
Yeah, Jack, Grant, Easton, they're great, man. They come here and they work every day. They love football like we do, and then you can see it in how they practice. Easton, he flies around, Jack flies around, Grant flies around. As you can see, he's playing on special teams. I think that's big for him. He's a big kid, and I think they're great, man. They come here and work every day.
How does that translate? How did that translate for you as a younger player, being on special teams and what you're doing now, just athletically, or even what you're thinking about when you're playing middle linebacker?
I think special teams helps with, as a linebacker, special teams is one of the most important things, even in the NFL. Like, special teams it's a big thing for linebackers, and I think that, like, as a young player, that should be the one thing you're trying to get on, especially like if you have older people in front of you. Like, I'm trying to get on special teams, and I'm on special teams, so that's a really important part of the game. Coach B preaches that, and that's just what you got to do your job and execute.
I want to ask you about Jack, since you mentioned him. What's he shown you since he's been here from this summer on?
Jack's awesome. He's a tough kid. He comes here and he works every day. He loves football. You can see it. And he's just a good kid, man. He just comes here. He trains hard. He works hard. He watches film. He's a good kid.
We saw the play at the end of practice on Thursday where he kind of walked off with that TFL.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you've been seeing from him, or what was that like to see that?
It was cool. It's just him executing his job, really. That's just what he comes here and does every day. I think so.